My name's Peter Rosengard, and I'm a life insurance salesman. In 1991, I sold the world's largest life insurance policy for $100 million from a cold call. It got me into the Guinness Book of Records, and that's something I'm very proud of.
The all-time sales marketing genius of the last 200 years, do you know who he is? Because I do. He's the man who 200 years ago, isn't he, thought of calling death insurance life insurance. Was he the sales genius of all time? Wasn't he? You think it's tough selling life insurance? Think how it could have been. Hello, it's Peter Rosengard. Hello, it's Peter Rosengard here from Abbey Death. You think it's tough? I was left university, I was studying dentistry. I didn't like teeth, so I quit. It's a bit of a drawback if you're going to be a dentist, isn't it? I thought of gynecology, but it was one extreme to the other. I was in Sweden. I've been in a club in Soho. One night I met an au pair girl. I said, can I give you a lift home? I ended up on a small island off the coast of Stockholm. I lived there for a year. I was a dishwasher, a disc jockey. I got the sack from both. My grandfather kept writing to me letters. Come home, Peter, and be an accountant. He was sick. Come home the next week, be a solicitor. You know what I'm saying. In fact, I wish you could tell me what I'm saying. The only way most people think, logically, reflect, speak, maybe write it down, then speak. The only way I know what I'm thinking is by stopping and listening to what I've just said. So you're looking at one of the very few men of the world to have his Rolls Royce repossessed. The greatest tragedy, Tony Campolo was talking on a similar theme. The greatest tragedy for me in life has to be to die without ever having lived. I'd like to show you something I'm very proud of. I'd like to show you my diary. There's not a lot going on in there, is there? That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At the end of that month, I'd done 100 sales. You've got to be a little crazy in life, I think, because it stops you going insane, right? When you hear about that guy on the television news every 6 months, there's always a guy, isn't there? You know that terrible thing, the headline news item, man runs amok, murders a family of 5, right? You've seen that? They interview the neighbors. Have you noticed that? And they always say, tell us about him. They always say, oh, he was such a nice, quiet little man, didn't they? Didn't they? He was always such a nice, quiet. Normally he was an actuary or a bank manager, right? Am I right? They never say, you never hear the neighbors saying, oh, he was a crazy lunatic, wasn't he? He was a nutter. We always knew he'd do it, walking around with that axe all the time. You know? Success is a journey and not a destination. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. That's not for me. That's not how I want to live my life. Listen, change is frightening, isn't it? It is. What does it mean? It means going from here to somewhere else over here, somewhere unknown, right? Call reluctance, for those of you who have never had it, I'm just unlucky, I guess. For those of you who have never had core reluctance, the ultimate, let me think of the ultimate core reluctance. I know what it is. You've got a red-hot lead from a brand new, great new client, and you get the phone, you sit in front, and it feels like your fingers are made of lead, and you dial the number, this is core reluctance par excellence, and you dial that number of the red-hot referred lead, and you pray that nobody answers. Why? Don't ask me. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can give you a good... 20 years of my life calling people, and I expect every one of them to tell me what was the expression? And the last word is off. I've been expecting that for 20 years. Do you know what? I'm always frightened they're going to say, life insurance salesman, get... I've got the most fantastic thing for you. If you don't get... I don't know if you're getting anything out of this, but I feel fantastic. Next time anybody's ever rude to you on the phone, remember this. As soon as they start screaming abuse, you life insurance salespeople, you drive me mad, just say nothing. Read the paper, carry on drinking that cup of coffee, say nothing. And in the end, you know what happens in the very end? You know what happens? They stop. They have to stop. And then you go, oh, excuse me, Mr. Smith, I'm terribly sorry. Somebody came in at the very beginning. I didn't catch that. Could you repeat? Could you? And I got a secretary on the phone last week of some really important, well, he thought he was important, obviously. This secretary, they were so big deal in this company, the secretary wouldn't tell me her name. Can you believe it? I love it when they say, don't you love it when they say, will he know what it's about? You know what I say? I say, not unless he's into telepathy. Not unless he's psychic. Hey, you want to hear a psychic joke? I'll just give you a quick one. I heard it the other day. It's great. Like it? Sorry, I'm bored. I know what I'll do. I'll call the president. Why not? Why not? If I've got any words I want on my gravestone, why not, right? Why not? Ask. When people say you can't do that, say, why not? Why not? Anyway, I got out of the pool, I'm dripping wet, I went to the yellow pages, this is true, and I look up, and there he is, between plumbing and pretzels, the president! The president of the Seychelles. Right, he's there, and I called him. I said, Mr. President, my name's Peter Rosengard of Abbey Life in London. I'm quite a successful life insurance salesman in London, and recently I've been sharing a very exciting, I thought I'd better say what I normally say, a very exciting new idea to a lot of successful presidents like yourself. Thank God he didn't ask me to name any names. I mean, Marcos, you know, do Baby Doc. I say, why? Why take it easy? Because I'm going to be a long time dead. I can lie in bed for the next 2 billion years, can't I? I saw a film a few weeks ago called Dead Poets Society. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's an extraordinary film. Amazing film, huh? And in it, it's about a poetry teacher. I thought it'd be the worst thing I ever saw, so boring, but it was like no poetry teacher I've ever seen in my life teaching kids about poetry. Great actor, Robin Williams. And he had a phrase that he kept saying to the boys, and the phrase was, carpe diem, carpe diem. Latin means seize the day. If you run after any person in the street and say, excuse me, I'm a BBC interviewer, stop a woman in a crowded Oxford Street and say, excuse me, is this your life? And they'll say, I promise you. They'll say 9 times out of 10, oh no, not now, not now, I'm just practicing. This isn't my life, I'm just waiting for a knight in shining armor to ride into my world, my life, and whisk me off on his white steed. Then my life will begin. I'm just practicing right now. Stop a man and say, excuse me, sir, is this your life? And he'll say, no, no, I'm waiting for a princess to ride in. I'm just rehearsing. I'm just practicing it. I don't buy that, you see. I don't buy that. That's not how I want to live my life, because there are cemeteries all over the world full of people. Well, gravestones should say, shouldn't they? Here lies John Smith, 5% used, right? Here lies Mary O'Hara, 10% used. Listen, I don't buy that. When I die, I want to have on my gravestone, here lies Peter Rosengard, totally burnt out, running on full tilt and empty. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you now to some people who've actually been there and heard me speak.
Hello, my name's David Dean, and I am Peter Rosengard's 92nd guest of the morning, having breakfast here at Claridge's in London. And if you don't know Peter, you should, because he is simply the best. He is the best life insurance salesman, not in England, not in Europe, in the world, in the stratosphere. To my name, I have got 197 policies I don't know what to do with. So much so that I'm looking for beneficiaries. So if you want to be a beneficiary of one of my policies, write to Peter Rosengard and he'll tell you what to do. He's got such a great brain, such a clever brain. In fact, never mind the recession, he will tell you what to do. In fact, he has said to me just recently, he's not worried about the recession because he's not going to participate in it. Now, if you want a motivational speaker, you'll get no better than Peter Rosengard.
There's a danger when speaking about Peter Rosengard of slipping into cliches. He has legendary status amongst financial advisors in this country and many other parts of the world. He's achieved enormously, and he's achieved in so many different fields. He's a great public speaker. But to talk about Peter in cliches, nothing could be more inappropriate. He is unique. He's a one-off experience, and an experience that I recommend to anyone.
My name is Mike Wilson. I'm chairman of St James's Place. I've known Peter for some 25 years, and he is the greatest salesman I have ever met. What you won't learn from him, you won't learn from anyone. The great advantage of Peter is he's proved that he can do it It's not theory, it actually works in practice. He's an outstanding speaker.